You know why I'm here.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well today. So, let's talk about something that just dropped and has a lot of people talking. The USA basketball training camp roster for Phoenix. The list just came out, and the first thing a lot of fans noticed right away is that a couple of very big names are missing. No Caitlin Clark, no Angel Reese. And naturally, that got people asking questions. I've already seen a bunch of messages from fans saying, what's going on? Or how is Caitlin Clark not on this list? And honestly, I get why people are surprised. Caitlin has been one of the most talked about players in basketball over the past year, and Angel Reese is another name that constantly draws attention. So when fans don't see those names on a USA basketball list, it's going to raise eyebrows. But if we're being real for a second, I don't think this is something people need to panic about. USA basketball has a long history of rotating players through different camps and events. They don't always bring the exact same group every time. A lot of these camps are about evaluation, seeing how different players perform in different situations, figuring out who fits best with certain lineups, and building depth just in case something unexpected happens later. Think about it like building a deep bench. Injuries happen, seasons are long, players sometimes can't participate for different reasons. So, what USA basketball usually does is test a wide range of players to make sure they have multiple options ready to go if they ever need them. So, when you look at the names that are on the roster, you can kind of see that process happening. You've got players like Cameron Brink back in the mix. Paige Bueckers is there again. Ray Burrell is on the list. Some of these players were part of previous camps or international competitions, including the group that played in Puerto Rico. At the same time, you also see established stars like Aja Wilson and Sabrina Ionescu showing up here, even though they weren't in the previous camp. So that right there tells you they're mixing things up. They're experimenting with combinations, testing chemistry, and seeing who can perform when they're surrounded by top-level talent. Basically, they're asking the question, who can truly hang when the competition is elite? Because when you're talking about international basketball, that's the level you have to be ready for. There are also a few other interesting names involved. Stephanie Dolson is there. Brittany Sykes made the list. Kayla Thornton is another player who brings a lot of toughness and versatility. These camps give players like that a chance to prove they belong in the conversation. Then you've got younger names popping up too. Michaela Blake's being there caught a lot of people's attention. That's a pretty big opportunity, especially considering how competitive these camps are. So, when you zoom out, it starts to make more sense why USA basketball would want to bring in as many different players as possible right now. The 2028 Summer Olympics are coming up, and building a roster for something that big doesn't happen overnight. You need to evaluate talent years in advance, give players experience in the system, and see how they respond to the environment. Because you never know what might happen down the road. Someone could get injured. Someone might not be available. Suddenly, you need another player ready to step into that role. So, that's why these camps exist. Now, with that being said, would I personally like to see a Caitlin Clark in this camp? Of course. Anytime Caitlin is on the court, people are going to watch. Her style of play, her passing, her range, it makes every game exciting. So yeah, more Caitlin basketball is always a win for fans. But just because she isn't on this particular list doesn't mean anything dramatic is happening. I also saw some people trying to turn this into a bigger controversy. A few fans started saying that maybe it has something to do with Stephanie White being involved with the program, suggesting that she somehow didn't want Caitlin there. And honestly, I don't buy it. It's easy for people online to jump to conclusions and create narratives, but most of the time, these roster decisions are made by a group of people evaluating dozens of factors. It's rarely as simple as one person deciding who stays and who goes. So, for now, I think the smartest approach is just to wait and see how everything plays out. At the moment, the only real takeaway is this. The roster dropped, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese aren't on it, and USA Basketball is clearly using this camp to evaluate a different group of players. And, knowing how these programs usually operate, this probably isn't the last time we'll see the roster change. The U.S. women's national basketball team announced today, and we'll get to some fan reaction in a minute, the 15 players who will participate in a training camp set for April 1 through 3 in Phoenix. The camp will feature Olympic gold medalists like Napheesa Collier, Sabrina Ionescu, Aja Wilson, and Stephanie Dolson. Now, this one is confusing people, but Dolson is on this team because of 3x3. You can see right there that she won a gold medal in the 3x3 event at the 2020 Summer Olympics. Ionescu and Wilson are also world champions. Monique Billings, Paige Bueckers, and Ray Burrell return from the squad that went 5-0 in San Juan, Puerto Rico, at the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup qualifying tournament. Paige Bueckers, Cameron Brink, Veronica Burton, Rickea Jackson, and Juju Watkins also attended the camp held in December 2025. Michaela Blakes won gold at the FIBA Women's AmeriCup and will make her senior national team camp debut. Brittany Sykes is also going. Azura Stevens is going as well. All right, so this is interesting. Kayla Thornton will make her USA basketball debut in Phoenix. And in case you're wondering, Kara Lawson is still leading this camp. Now, Stephanie White, good God, and Nate Tibbetts, all these coaches dodging the WNBA. When is this, man? April 1 through the 3. More strange, scratching your head decisions made by coaches after a chaotic offseason. What are we doing exactly? Stephanie White, looking at you. So, a lot of response here. Damn, no CC. Sykes, Juju, Ray Burrell. What the F is this? Don't piss me off. To hell is Caitlin Clark. The comments of people that don't know how this works is wild. Maybe some players have other obligations and such. It's a 3-day camp, for Christ's sakes. I don't know what anyone is talking about, and everyone seems to have a different take on what's happening here. Said, where's Caitlin Clark? Why ain't Caitlin gonna be there? Here said, the return of Aja Wilson and Napheesa Collier to the USA Basketball national team setup for a 3-day training. Michaela Blakes with her first senior national team practice earned. And Kayla Thornton is rewarded with her first call-up. Said, I feel like Clark is already a lock. So they have a few more vets participating and a few more new faces, plus some returnees, all to whittle down for a final roster for September. This is just a training camp. What is this one for? Grok is Caitlin Clark in Arizona at training camp. Paige Bueckers is there, but no Caitlin. Paige was the best player on the floor in PR. Let's go. Obviously, this means nothing without the most important person in WNBA. Caitlin Clark, where's she at? It's all pointless without her. They cut Angel Reese? Yeah, a lot of people are like, what is going on here? Well, a couple of things. Caitlin Clark, no Caitlin Clark, nobody cares. Caitlin better make the final team. Why ain't Caitlin gonna be there? Fee is hurt. Juju Watkins, I don't think, can play yet either. Why is Paige Bueckers there again? And why wasn't Aaliyah Boston going to be there? Yeah. We still don't know exactly how injured she is from Unrivaled. That's something we haven't heard anything more about. By the way, she missed Puerto Rico. That's something we might have to contend with at the beginning of the Indiana Fever season that we don't have the answers to right now. All right, let's talk about something that a lot of fans are watching very closely right now, the Team USA roster situation. Because whether people want to admit it or not, there is one name that has become the center of the entire conversation: Caitlin Clark. And here's the reality. If Caitlin Clark doesn't make the final team, the backlash will be absolutely massive. I'm not talking about a few angry tweets. I'm talking about a full-blown fan reaction across the entire basketball world. Because at this point, Clark isn't just another player fighting for a spot. She's one of the biggest names in the sport. Now look, some names feel like complete locks. A'ja Wilson is going to be there. Sabrina Ionescu is probably going to be there. Those are the types of players everyone expects to see on the roster. And recently, we saw players like Kelsey Plum down in Puerto Rico with the team as well. But the thing that has fans scratching their heads right now is another name, Paige Bueckers. Because Paige showing up to another evaluation session has people asking questions. If other players already seem secure, why is Paige still being brought in for another look? Does that mean she's right on the edge of the roster? Is she on the bubble? And then there's another layer people keep bringing up, the connections inside USA basketball. When fans hear names like Sue Bird, they immediately start connecting dots with the UConn Huskies women's basketball program, where Paige Bueckers made her name. Some people even joke about the UConn connection influencing decisions. Now, personally, I'm not saying that's what's happening, but you can understand why fans start speculating when things look unclear from the outside. My gut feeling is Caitlin Clark is probably on this team. It would be very hard to justify leaving out a player who has been performing at such a high level and bringing so much attention to the game. I'd also expect players like Kelsey Plum and maybe even Angel Reese to be in the mix. But the real question is this. If Paige Bueckers makes the team while Clark somehow doesn't, how do you explain that to the fans? That's the conversation everyone would be having the next day. But I want to hear from you. Do you think Caitlin Clark is a lock for Team USA? And what do you think about the Paige Bueckers situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more discussions just like this.